nation pride.
All right, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Thank you, Frank, for the volume comment. I had it turned down. So what's going on? Here we are. Storms are brewing. Lots to talk about. We have Gulf low on everybody's radar, along with East Coast action to follow. Lots to talk about. Holy cow. We did a special live yesterday. I felt bad we didn't have one scheduled in the morning. Oh, I got to hit the timer button. Did I make it? Oh, I made it. I felt bad in the morning. Everybody yesterday was wondering why we weren't live in the fall. We're Monday, Wednesday, Friday usually. But we rushed home and Shelly was ready to go, so we did one yesterday. But we're back at our normal time, me and Louie. Going to talk about our weather. Lots of questions. I know. Everybody wants to know exactly to the minute when it's going to rain. That no one can answer. Not even Mother Nature. But we do know something's coming. So, and things are getting tweaked better and better and better. So, I'm going to get into all the timing, all the models, what you can expect, and then we'll go from there. Try to keep Louie awake. These dogs love to sleep when I do these little shows, I'm telling you. So the Daily Brew brought to you by our good friends at ABC Farm Wine and Spirits. It's Friday, so that means one thing. You got to stop there on the way home. Funny story, I'm working on this video. I can't wait to show. They have these holiday recipes. They have Jolly Jelly. And I'm trying to make it. Oh my God, it's a hilarious. I think it's hilarious. Little reel of me trying to make the trip to the store and whatnot. So, yeah, I went on their website anyway. Check them out. They got a lot of great holiday ideas. Unfortunately, we had to move our Christmas party to next week because it's going to be nasty here in Oldsmar this weekend, unfortunately. Today, real quick, before I forget, if you're living in the area, Drew Garabo Show is broadcasting live from my hometown here in Oldsmar all day long, 6 to 6. They're doing a huge toy drive. I'll be out there at 1 o'clock donating a bike and some toys and also delivering some stuff from Tampa Bay Brewing Company. They're supporting it too. So if you're in the area, stop by and see Drew and John, and I'll be there at 1 o'clock today, Friday. And another big props out to our good buddies at Furman. They are always actively responding when we have severe weather. They have a team, Furman Active Support Team. They were down here during Ian and Delia and other storms, hurricanes. They're in Tennessee helping out the tornadoes that just occurred a few days ago. So props to Furman. They fix people's generators. Doesn't matter what brand. It's something really cool. They're very friendly, as we know, Jason and Greg there and their whole team. And they do a lot of great service for people. And they don't care whose generator it is. They always head out. They usually set up at Lowe's. So big props to them for that. And a little hurricane news. And then we're going to say hello to everybody because I want to talk about the weather. But this came out yesterday. This is a current ENSO forecast issued in December. As we know, we talk a lot about El Nino and La Nina. That's the only two Spanish words that I know, even though I took 3 years of Spanish. I know two more words than Louis does. See? New forecast came out. And, yeah, hey, look, man, this is a rapid decline of El Nino. Unbelievable. And I saw a stat today, the last 4 or 5 Super El Nino events, which we're in right now, is Super El Nino. We've had La Nina the following year, so this is common. But we could be looking, those letters indicate a 3-month span. So it's, March, June, July, August, July, August, September. So we could be leaning towards a La Nina peak hurricane season and a La Nina winter already. And as we know, history shows usually, as far as numbered storms go, we get more storms during La Nina than El Nino. We'll see. That's all I want to say about that. And the other discussion about hurricane season, not to be a downer, water temperatures are still above normal. So the thinking is that they won't get to normal, meaning they'll start the season above normal, which adds to higher precipitation anomalies across the main development region, which are already starting to show. So enough of that. But I wanted to point that out. All right, here's the satellite. We're going to say hi to everybody for a few minutes. What's up, Emily? Yeah, Louie is a chilled man. This dog is absolutely chill. My boy. He just doesn't ever get worked up unless the doorbell rings. He thinks he's going to take on whoever. Justin, what's up there, Pietrowski? What's up, buddy? That's right, Holly. He just loves the sound of my voice. Terry, the dog's always snore. The other one's a big snorer. Judy, yeah, he loves to be pet. Don't we all? Hey, another big shout out to one of our supporters. I know I don't want to sound like commercials, but we got a lot of supporters. But Tiger Dam, they were in the news big time in South Florida. Those are those orange temporary dams. They put them up during Nicole and Ian, across the East Coast. They put them up yesterday in Hollywood and Fort Lauderdale area because they kept the sand from leaving the beaches. So it was really cool to see them in action, and there was a bunch of news stories showing Tiger Dam. So proud of them making the news and doing some good down there. 12 months of hurricanes. What's up, Mike? So yeah, we had a system in January last year. This one is probably not going to be one unless it had a weird chance to plop off on the East Coast. If it came over on the East Coast side, you never know. But it's going to feel tropical. We're going to get into that really, really, really quick. Francine, Panama City Beach. We love Panama City Beach. I'll be going to the Gulf Coast Jam June 1st weekend. Morgan Wallen. Yay. Can't wait for that. This is, by the way, current water vapor loop. Now, all right, so I watched Dennis last night. Dennis is awesome. I love Dennis Phillips, as you guys and gals know. He basically said it best. This, like, hopefully everybody is. We got bad weather coming. There's a lot of unknowns. You don't want to sound like too low key. You don't want to sound too high key. So, the Storm Prediction Center did up the storm chances. They are talking about storm chances across the East Coast on Sunday. So everything that I've been talking about, other than the rain, has not been there for the southeast parts of the state. That was a little bit of a bust. They're still expected to get 3 or 4 inches, but we are going to get a big surge of storms. Timing Saturday, I'm going to show all that. Saturday morning tomorrow, we're going to start seeing that on radar. We might have some surge flooding to watch on the Florida West Coast. And everything's pointing to Saturday evening, Saturday night storms pulling up with potential for tornadoes all the way to Sunday morning for Florida Peninsula. And then that all shifts to the East Coast for Sunday. That would mean Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, maybe Virginia. But we're going to get into all that, I promise. So just be patient. All right, so here is the current look at winds. So if you're wondering why the heck it's so windy on the East Coast, in fact, let me show you these pictures before I forget. This was yesterday for me. I don't know if you saw this. Man, it went viral. Holy cow. This is in Oldsmar yesterday. So if you're wondering, the winds, here, let's go back to the winds. This has been the story for a couple of days. These are wind directions. Strong winds have been, as you know, if you live on the Florida East Coast. Holy cow, right? Strong winds. High pressure to the north. Look at that high pressure right here. Boom. High pressure. Boom. Slamming down into Florida. These winds have came across the state, and believe it or not, Tampa Bay, where I live, this is the only third time that I've ever seen this. These upper level winds reached, they're low level winds actually, but they reach the surface, and it actually blows the water out of the bay. I've lived here my whole life. I've only remember seeing this during Irma, and I've only remember seeing it during Ian. Even though I wasn't here, I saw pictures of it. I was down in the storm, but that is unbelievable, right? I mean, this is because of that, or that is because of that. This or that was caused this. We boat here. Like, I've beached our boat here before. This is the throttle up zone right here. So, normally it's not this shallow. I mean, it's not ever. And it's just, it's nothing scary. It's just a phenomenon of the strong winds, persistent strong winds slowly drives the water out of Tampa Bay. Not all the water, but a big part of it, obviously, because I walked out there. That's a good quarter mile at least. So I thought that was very interesting. That was yesterday. And by the way, props to Mike's weather page. I hope maybe you saw it, but Weather Channel shared it. Fox Weather shared it. AccuWeather shared it. And then a fourth site shared it. I can't remember now. But anyway, it was pretty cool. All right. So you look at this, you're wondering what the heck is there? We don't even see a low pressure right now. But this is where it's all forming right here. So these winds are coming here. We got energy coming down. All this is going to kickstart a low pressure that's going to get tied up to an approaching frontal line and work its way across. This is what it's going to look like tomorrow. There's where our low is going to be, right on the tip of the Yucatan. This is on Saturday. This also means the storms are going to be starting to pile into Florida, and this was new today. Boom. Let's leave this up. Drink some coffee. So we guessed the last couple of days that we'd be under a yellow number 2 risk. I hate the word slight. It makes it sound like it's insignificant. We are. We meaning Central Florida. Dark green for the whole peninsula. And then they added green now for portions of Florida still on Sunday. That would be early Sunday overnight. But mainly Sunday morning, afternoon now for Georgia, coastal, South Carolina, North Carolina. So that's going to be a potential for tornadoes on Sunday for the East Coast states. So we are under yellow. Yellow is definitely raise your eyebrows, okay? Some of the most significant tornadoes we've ever had in Florida were under a slight 2 risk. So don't think it's nothing. It could be something. And reading Jim Cantori this morning, there's just a lot of unknowns because we have a really complex upper air pattern. A couple a week or so back when we had that tornado outbreak, it was clear. The models were clear. We had energy coming up through the Western Gulf. The other day we had our storms that hit Miami. That was a big dip in the jet. This is a very complex with so many different upper level winds and cutoff lows. So there could be a lot of stuff going on up there that might reach the surface. So we got to keep a close eye. And unfortunately, this could be Saturday night, overnight, like dark nocturnal times. So that's just the facts. Saturday night, there's your areas. We're going to look at the HRRR model here and look at timing now. And that'll hopefully help out a million questions that I know y'all have. So, Lord Andrew, what's up, buddy? How you been, man? Cheers. Lord's in the yellow, so me. We don't want orange. Any Zach Bryan fans out there? Something in the orange or something like that? Florida Man, I know. It's funny. Florida Man just posted the centers where the best risk for tornado is. I agree with that comment. But don't you agree, Florida Man? We're going to have storms pulling up into this thing. So that's the question. I think center south along those tails. And I'm going to show you this radar here in a second. Storm surge, we're going to talk Celeste. We do, there's a graphic showing that Clearwater Beach could be, 5-6 feet. It's down a little bit. I'm going to show you a new link that I found. I saw Old Tampa Bay could be 4 or 5 feet. And remember, it's tricky because Ada was 3 to 5 predicted. It produced a lot of flooding, as is Idalia. My question is on surge, which we'll talk about surge in a little bit. So here we go. All right, so there's that one. And then, of course, rain. We'll just touch on this briefly. Today, this came out. These are new maps for now up to Monday. But Obviously, tomorrow, Saturday, the flood risk is in yellow. Even though you're seeing 2 to 3 inches, I've already seen it. There's going to be pockets of rain trains. We're going to see feeder bands. It's going to be a low pressure system. So anytime you get a low pressure system, you get feeder bands, and sometimes these feeder bands just continuously rain. So always a chance for flooding with those, even though and that'll be a lot higher than what the rainfall totals are showing if you get one of those rain trains. Rain is obviously extended to the East Coast on Sunday, and then we've got it all the way to Maine into Sunday night into Monday. So that's flood risk, obviously, with this system. Current rains for southeast, like I said, still 3 inches plus, possibly pretty much the whole state, 2 to 3 inches. Hard to really tell who's going to get what. Main thing is there's a lot of moisture coming. Most of it's Saturday to Saturday night. As you know, all you got to do is look at your apps, and you got 80, 90%, 100% rain chances. I mean, this is me. There's no point of trying to understand if it's going to hit you at 8 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night. There's no predictions going to be that correct. You know the rain's coming, so you just gotta know. I mean, it ain't gonna be here at 8 in the morning, but it's probably gonna be here, 6 o'clock at night, and that means it could be here at 4 o'clock at night. It could be here 3 o'clock. I mean, so all you need to do is have a good weather app, and you're gonna see this thing tomorrow, and you can make your own predictions on when it's gonna be there. I mean, weather app is your friend because you're going to start seeing this thing brewing tomorrow. But, the reason the rain chances are now increasing some across the Carolinas is because once our low plops over here, you're going to have constant flow rolling in off of the Atlantic. And that's obviously where we're going to see the tornado chances increase across this area on Sunday. And Brad Panovich mentioned this yesterday, that the Carolinas might see one of their lowest pressures ever. Not the lowest, but this thing's going to be continuing to deepen, which means anytime you get low pressures, you get big winds. And we're going to, we can see this thing 80, 70 range possibly, which is very low pressure, especially this time of year. All right, El Nino, I've showed these graphics a bunch on our show. I know not everybody watches every day, but typical El Nino pattern, right? We've already had a couple episodes this season of flooding and tornadoes. Okay, El Ninos, basically the two graphics here, the one on the bottom right, flooding events compared to other years almost double during strong El Ninos. That's this red. These are flooding events: moderate El Nino, weak El Nino, neutral, weak La Nina, blah, blah, blah. So strong El Ninos, we've had way more flooding than normal over the years. And then strong El Nino here would be your chart on the right side, tornado events, November to April statistics. During strong El Ninos, way more tornadoes than we do any other time during Enzo events. So strong El Ninos playing up to this, and it's all because of the jet stream to the south, instability to the north, heat in the atmosphere. So everything points to this. This is why there's a lot of question marks about how severe we could get. Remember, we already had a pretty significant tornado outbreak a few weeks ago. Remember, we had the one here in Oldsmar, we had one in Jacksonville, we had that Crystal River one, we had one in Clearwater, we had one in Dunedin, we had the flooding already down in the whole, the no-name storm down south a couple weeks ago. I went down there too. So this is part of it. So all right, let's look at the all-important HRRR. So I've been waiting for this. So the HRRR only goes out 48 hours, but it's a very good model for really high resolution radar to the hour. It updates every hour, and you can look at a lot of parameters like storms and helicity and shear and upper level winds and satellites. So we're going to look at that here in a second. So again, Lord, is it getting the name Vincent? No, Vixen. We named it Vixen. Vixen. For the spirit of Christmas. One of Rudolph's reindeers, Vixen. Anyway, so here is the radar. All right, so tomorrow we're going to start seeing this bubble. This is throughout the day today. South Florida's still getting the lingering front. It's all leftover frontal lingering line. It's going to get built up here out in the Gulf of Mexico tomorrow. So let's start watching this thing progress. Hopefully we start to see clarity. So, look at it. isolated little drizzles and sprinkles even tonight possibly as this thing starts to lift. It's going to lift. And we got a lot of wind shear out there. I showed that earlier. Look at this. This is instability in the atmosphere right here. You can see it. Right here. That's a lot of upper level jet stream winds. And so as our system starts to lift, we can start to even see a couple of sprinkles try to make their way in. But the main core starts to really get going overnight tonight. Now listen, every single model run is, man, Emily might be right. Because they moved her softball to 8. And I'm like, you'll be all right. She goes, my app says it's going to rain at 8. And I'm like, throw your app away. Well, maybe it will rain at 8. I don't know. It's 8 in the morning. This is going to change. But as far as timing, like I said, it's impossible. You just know this is coming. There's no point of expecting it not to rain on Saturday. You know it's coming. It's just a matter of when, But here's the HRRR already starting to show rain pulling up into the state. I'm surprised early. Wow. I mean, this is Saturday noon. Lifting up. Look at that. So there you go. I mean, it's already starting tomorrow. This is all up till noon tomorrow. So everybody asks their questions. Guess what? If you're under the green, it's raining. Now this is, it's not exact, but we've known that the rain is coming around early afternoon. So it makes sense. We might start getting some trickle in a little earlier. And usually, anytime models predict something, they always speed up, it seems like. I don't know what it is. It's over the years. If it's predicted to rain at 6 p.m. 2 days ago, it's probably going to be 4 p.m. when it comes to it. So, all right, but look at this little low now starting to show at 9 a.m. Whoa, God, I haven't even looked at this. This is like opening presents for the first time. This is like so exciting because I haven't looked at it yet. So this is where we're looking. This is the low. This is at 9 a.m. And let's watch what it does. And you can start to see it slinging some bands towards Tampa. So, this is 6 o'clock tomorrow night. Still showing some rain on the backside. I've showed this a lot. I have not left out the Louisiana folks or Upper Gulf. This is the other energy source that's actually driving. So this area behind it, this is what's so tricky. This area behind it is actually dipping possibly a negatively tilted upper level winds, which could drive these chances for storms. So this is like a secondary area that's actually mingling. And, there you go. It's 1 a.m. Sunday morning right there. Big old low. There's some dry air intrusion, more moisture behind it. Any of these, in my opinion, could be strong. Any of these coming in off of the Gulf of Mexico. We know tornadoes in Florida generally go northeast, like every other tornadoes. Usually, they go this direction, and usually it's fed in off of these feeder bands. So, less to the north. Not saying you can't get any, but usually it's always south of that center line. But we could also get some wrapping in here. This south of the center line on approach to the west coast. The difference over here is if our low is right here, these start to wrap in, and that's the other side. So it's always so confusing. On approach, it's this side. On exits, it's this side. That's because of the nature of the counterclockwise flow. So, but this is 2 a.m. Nasty at the Keys. Starting to spread northward, and this is, Saturday night. This is what everybody's talking about. This only goes out 48 hours, but, we do have a big old pocket of dry air coming in on the backside. This is Sunday, 7 a.m. Makes complete sense. The forecast has not changed. Some lingering storms possibly Sunday morning, but most of the heavy stuff now is going to be watched for the East Coast. And the only concern for everybody here, I'm going to show you, is our low could plop back over the water, and some of those winds, man, all the way to Maine. The latest GFS was showing 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts for big part of the eastern seaboard, all the way to Maine, coming in off the Atlantic. So, going to be a windy after Florida for this thing. So that's, I mean, there's really no point to go much more than that. There's, other parameters we can look at. By the way, are we streaming on Instagram, Shelly? Did it work? We're trying for the first time to do that. I don't even know how to check. Hello, Instagram. One day we'll be able to go live on TikTok. Let me see if I'm streaming live on there. I don't even know. Let's see. It's always a test the first time. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I think I was supposed to hit the live button. Maybe I didn't hit the live button. I don't know. So anyway, well, we are on X and YouTube. So why isn't it a tropical storm, Heather? Well, listen, it's tricky. So it's not a closed low. It's attached to a frontal line, and because it's attached to a frontal line, that is the definition, scientific definition. It's not independent. It's actually part of a frontal line. If it that's one of the reasons. But the effects are exactly the same. Winds, heavy rains, storm threat. They do call these cyclones, which I take a lot of criticism for, because the SPC talks about cyclones all the time. A cyclone is just a low pressure area. So I kind of been using it more, hopefully, to let everybody know it doesn't always mean a hurricane. If you read all the words here, they mention cyclones all the time. Mid-level cyclone, low-level cyclone, cyclone genesis, but anyway, let's go back to other parameters. We got stuff to look at. We can look at winds. We know it's going to be windy. Well, let's see what it might look like here. So you're going to have dry air wrapped in behind this thing on approach. This is your water vapor loop. But, as Sunday 3 a.m., these are going to be strong winds, but this is dry air also coming in around this low. So that's classic. Now let's go a little deeper. Let's start looking at everybody now as far as what you can expect. All right, so they're talking about the center. The center of the storm, they say, is going to be the greatest chance for tornadoes wherever the center decides to go. So we'll go to tropical tidbits here, and we'll zoom in on the southeast specifically for now, and then we'll get into the whole east. Well, this was a good one because it has all the East Coast on it. And let's just look at 850 millibar. Well, yeah, I guess it looks kind of scary, but we don't want to do that one. So here's latest 6Z, and there you go. So 997. These are upper level winds. It's kind of showing you instability. It's smack dab north of Tampa Bay. That means the winds are going to rotate around the system. That's where we're going to see some surge issues possibly, as we don't necessarily need folks that have dealt with Idalia and Ada. But again, this is kind of the center part of the state, and that's where they're thinking, might be the greatest risk of tornadoes. Because remember, when you got a low pressure area, a deepening low pressure area, you get winds racing towards that center. And when you get the winds racing towards that center, obviously you get storm buildup, convection, instability. So, that's why we have that Central Florida yellow right now. Another thing that I've been noticing a lot, and this is talking about it, and I've already saw people in Georgia talking about it, as this system in Florida tomorrow starts to develop, we're already seeing winds wrapping around towards the northern part of Florida into Georgia there, even South Carolina. Nothing like Irma, nothing to that magnitude, but you got to remember, when we had Irma, people were getting surge up here and didn't know why. Well, because, one thing we've learned over the years, we all focused on the landfall, but nobody was talking about the wraparound winds that were happening already off to the north. So y'all are going to get a lot of possible surge, maybe, not a lot, but more than maybe you thought you were getting, and then a lot of winds as this thing approaches approaches you guys. And this is Sunday morning. So Sunday morning is going to be weird for the Florida West Central Coast because we know there's going to be dry air. So it won't be necessarily raining, but there's going to be a lot of wind Sunday morning still, with storms off coming in still around the other side. But then this is where things get interesting. Man, pressure back over the Atlantic begins to drop. 991 on Sunday afternoon. 988, 984, 982, 981. So that is some very low pressure. You know, low pressures mean big winds and possible storms. That's rivals some pretty low pressures that you all have ever seen along that coast, for sure. Surface winds show you even 10 meter surface winds here, which usually relate to possibly, you know, what you might feel along the coast. Those are some pretty intense winds coming in towards, you know, off the Atlantic. Now this would be Sunday night, the heaviest stuff here across South Carolina into Outer Banks. And then overnight Sunday could get really windy across Outer Banks. And then here's Monday morning. It starts to clear on out. Remember, the biggest winds are going to be off to the right side. But 981 smack dab over Outer Banks is the current euro. This thing extends up to, let's show the East Coast, just let you know what's cooking there. Monday morning, winds are already reaching Long Island, you know, starting to reach the Northeast, Cape Cod, and all the way to Maine. This is Monday night. So incredible winds across the whole eastern seaboard with this thing. Latest GFS showing it has been trending a little more north of the euro. The euro did inch north at one time. It was all the way down there south. Here's where GFS is expecting that center to go, and doesn't really develop anything center-wise, but it's just kind of showing you that elongated low, maybe even reaching down here. It's really tricky. This is that kind of like that graphic, the weather graphic I showed that I had no idea would go viral. This is your elongated low at pressure area. This is showing, you know, nothing really tightening up, but what the GFS is doing. 996 heavy winds to the north side Sunday morning, and look at the pressures drop even on the GFS. 985 over eastern Carolina before it's gone. So it's pretty consistent, man. We are going to see a pretty significant wind event. 981, and then of course you guys are used to that up there, but not the mid-Atlantic states. What it could look like, because a lot of people are referencing the storm of the century. This is definitely not that, but it's going to have characteristics like that. It's not as deep a pressure, but it definitely could resemble some of the effects in some people's storms. Trying to get a good satellite presentation to kind of compare it. So this is Sunday afternoon. Estimated infrared radar. It might be easier to see with dry. I don't know. Let's see. It might be better with water vapor loop. Let's see. Kind of showing you what it could look like. And I mean, if you go back to Levi's site, we can look at moisture and see that. So it's pretty cut and dry at this point. Heavy rain pumping up. This is Sunday afternoon. This is Sunday night. Sunday PM. So let's do your time frame one more time. Just so I know everybody likes the time frames. Just to kind of give you an idea with all the models. So what we'll do is do 6 hour increments. All right. So here is on the euro. Here is Saturday morning. Okay. Saturday morning, our plains energy coming in that's going to combine on Saturday morning. Starting to see rains across the Florida Peninsula as the HRRR predicted. So Saturday morning, going to be iffy, even across the peninsula. All right, we'll go fast forward 6 hours. That would be right here. Heavy rain Saturday afternoon. This is Saturday afternoon. Here's Saturday night. Boom. Saturday night. When I say night, it's like 7, 8 p.m. Heavy rains. There's your storm starting to get set up around that low pressure area. Low pressure starting to tighten. Overnight Sunday. That's the worst of it. Sunday morning. Pushing off into Georgia now. Getting close to Carolinas. There's your big bubble. Could see some storms really getting into Jacksonville area, Brunswick, Savannah. We could see that. We could still see trailing rains down in South Florida. Heavy rains wrapping around top side here around the panhandle. So left to center shouldn't be as strong as the right to center, just like any, if it was tropical, like any tropical system. So the storms coming down usually aren't as bad as the ones getting pulled up, because the ones coming down are starting to adjust frontal line, some cool air, and they don't really have the warmth to work with as much as this system does when it comes around on the backside. So that's why the south side, right side, through Florida at least, that's why your storms threats probably going to be more off to the right side of center here before it exits. But this is Sunday morning. 6 hours later is here. This is Sunday mid-afternoon. Sunday. I hope I said Saturday. You get the idea. We're into Sunday already. Sunday. Heavy rain. Big winds. Sunday night. Smack dab over Carolina's the heavy stuff. Sunday night. And then overnight into Monday. Heavy stuff now Virginia northward. Still going to be windy Sunday night into Monday for the Outer Banks. And here's Monday morning. Big blob of rains working their way north. And midday Monday, and then Monday night. Not a lot of snow with this. Euro is showing a little bit of possibility of some snow. Look at that 540 line. So there is some chances that on maybe Monday, Tuesday, we could see some Smoky Mountain snow for you snow lovers. Matter of fact, let me show you real quick. Not high probability yet, but there is some showing backside snow maybe for the mountains here. A couple inches maybe on the higher elevations. GFS is not showing much yet, so there's really not, but we can see the normal areas with snow, but this is not a snow event by any means, that's for sure. Some of your winds, we got to talk about the winds. I've already heard of a bunch of cruise lines have rerouted. Some were supposed to go to Bahamas, now we're going to Cancun. Obviously, I'll show you a wave map here in a second. The wind map's what I really want to show. We know it's going to be gusty in Florida, but this is what I really want to show, man. Look, this is the big question mark. So if we have a deepening low pressure, if this low pressure is able to stay over land or water, look at these winds, like unbelievable winds. Let's go Sunday morning. So Sunday morning, 8 a.m., Savannah, we can start to see some of these big winds start to come in. We can see 30s and 40s here along Charleston, 35. All these areas that are used to flooding, you're going to have a pretty strong flow of winds pushing you Sunday. 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts for Charleston, Myrtle Beach, 42. So, 40s and 50 miles per hour on Sunday. But watch these winds really pick up Sunday night. This has been very consistent. We're talking 69. I saw some 70s earlier, 75. These are gusts. These aren't sustained, but still quite impressive. Even sustained winds are showing 36 tropical storm force sustained winds. Gusts obviously are higher, but could be a big mess for the Outer Banks, Sunday night into Monday morning. So anything in the light blues, basically, 40s and 50s. And of course, these winds extend all the way up the eastern seaboard. So, Long Island could get some big winds, still on pace for early Monday morning. Could be some big winds as this thing scoots by. Cape Cod, obviously, some big winds, 50s, 60s, maybe more. Because pressures are dropping, 978. The wave forecast, let's go ahead and show you that real quick, just to kind of let everybody know it's not good. Not sure what all the boaters are doing, but here's current waves, unbelievable waves coming in. Red, 25-foot seas. Purple here, 30-foot seas. I mean, 10-foot seas is yellow, and even the Gulf is like, forget about it. So there's really no escape from the waves. It's going to shift once our low gets going. Our winds are going to start to pull up here, but once this thing comes on the other side of Florida, look at these waves. We're going to have a brief spell for Florida on Sunday morning. To some of these 30, 40 foot seas are going to be really close to the coast, and then they're going to start pointing towards the eastern seaboard there. And look at these guys. I mean, holy cow. Like, Sunday pink is 40-foot plus waves. And, of course, the Outer Banks is really going to feel it. And this is a big concern. It's Sunday night, overnight, 60, 70 mile an hour winds, already showing, 40, 50-foot seas right here. So I'm sure that is going to be a big deal for those folks up there. As this thing passes by Sunday, Monday. I don't think I came up for air. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really any unknowns other than how bad of storms we're going to get. They don't know. I mean, you can read between the lines. When the Storm Prediction Center goes yellow, it's quite not serious, but it's nothing to mess around with. And remember, I've seen tornadoes in dark green before. So yellow slight too, we've seen really significant tornadoes in the south. Damaging gusts, few tornadoes. They're talking about the complexity of the situation with all these different dipping lows and mid-level lows and where it's going to be. And then, of course, on Sunday, this extends over into continuing in off the coast here. This is late Saturday night, Sunday morning, but then it all shifts to the Carolinas on Sunday. So yeah, I mean it's that. I mean, I don't really know what else we can go over that we haven't gone over. Oh, the surge map. So Sierra. All right. So everybody's asked us about surge. So we do have a coastal flood watch. I saw some people put official numbers out showing 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 foot. There's this new graphic that I just found. Shelly, it's a new link alert. She loves a new link alert. Surge map. So right here, Jeff Masters yesterday shared a predicted Clearwater Beach surge, and it took me forever to find it, and I found it. But it's an experimental page, I think, by NOAA. And yeah, it is a National Weather Service site, so it's real. And it's extra tropical water level guidance. Load's very slow. But we have regions. It should pop into the Gulf. Here's Gulf. And we should have Clearwater ability to pop up. For Clearwater, here's Clearwater, St. Pete. All right, so here is the water. I guess it's the predicted water, which would be 4 foot. Hat is the highest actual tide ever recorded over like 40 years, I read, or something. So I was wondering what the Hat is. So it rivals the highest astronomical tide that we've ever had in Clearwater Beach. So this is what was shared, and the timing of it is exactly this time that this low is going to be approaching Saturday night and early Sunday morning. So that is the peak time. Unfortunately, high tides that time. St. Pete, I didn't even know if there was a graphic for St. Pete. I didn't even look at St. Pete. I know we got one for Cedar Key, Panama. I don't think there's one that's not popping up for St. Pete. Cedar Key, let's see what Cedar Key. Oh, Cedar Key, look at that, really high. So Cedar Key obviously could be way above their highest astronomical tide ever, which is Hat. And then the black, I believe, is a predicted surge, showing 5 to 6 foot. Nothing's official yet on surge, other than we have a coastal flood watch. But the Sierra map that is linked to my site right here, I think this goes off the GFS I read, so it's a little tricky. NOAA, yeah. So best tracks. I don't know what this one is. Hold on a minute. I didn't even notice this was a thing. Yeah, this is nothing. It compares it. So it's a decent. I can't get the toggle thing. I don't know what I can't figure out which button to hit. There we go. So this is a good one. It's linked to my site back over here. It's on the right side. You can see it right next. Just you'll find it right there. This one right here. Sierra Coastal Surge Map. Like I say, they didn't change it. They did change it. It is updated. I don't know. Did they change it? Anyway, but it's based a lot on GFS. But what you can do at least is kind of get a general idea. There's your wave height above mean sea level. You can click on blue over here and click and get data. And you'll get graphs. You'll get a graph data. So, there's your peak, 4 foot for Crystal River. Or that's Cedar Key, actually. What is Crystal River? There's Crystal River. So, 4 foot. For me, of course, I was looking today. And, it's interesting. We could see some more bay issues. That's 3.5 foot. Ada was right around that range too. So this does include tides along with surge. Clearwater obviously it depends on where our low goes. 3 foot. If this is derived from the GFS, the euro is a little low, a little more to the south, which would mean a little bit bigger numbers. I have a feeling to the south. But what's good here is you can go up here and start looking at Brunswick areas. You can look at, Savannah, Charleston. Really seeing a lot here around Myrtle Beach. These are those big winds that are be driving in. Obviously, if our low pressure, gets going here, and it's just these winds, driving in. So it's a good tool. Not sure how accurate it is without any official information, but people ask all the time about surge, so hopefully that map helps. I have a tide chart map. I really like this one down here. It's on the side. It's hard to find, but keeps you on the website longer. Tideschart.com. This is a cool one. You can click your area, and get information, which shows you high tide, low tide. If you're curious about what I witnessed yesterday, if you live in our area, 12 o'clock today is supposed to be low tide. I don't know how bad it would be today compared to yesterday, but tonight it'll be a little bit lower, but it'll be dark. You won't see it. You don't be walking around there in the dark. Another cool tide chart is the U.S. Coastal Tide Charts, which I have linked. You click on the state, you click on your area, you zoom in. And I can really zoom in. I go to Old Port Tampa Bay. You can look at more data, look at tide predictions. Now, this one does not include surge estimates. This is just natural. These are natural tides. But the important thing on this is at least to show you, like, for example, when high tide, low tide is. Clearwater Beach here, Saturday night, your low tide is next day is at 6 a.m. Or that's why would I care about low tide? It's high tide. High tide's at midnight. So disregard that last 28 seconds. High tide's at midnight. And that is exactly when this thing's going to be approaching, around midnight Saturday night, as far as the winds. So the Storm Prediction Center is saying they expect the biggest storm threat to be around where the center actually goes. So if we look at the wind chart, let's go to Saturday night. Here's where the euro is expecting our center to now go. Very broad, yes. However, it's now to the north. And this is 4 a.m. This is 1 a.m. So if it's, deepening sub 1,000. If it goes north of Tampa Bay, and we can see some surge, obviously, coming in with these winds. So, I'd pay really close attention if you live along the coast. Now, we don't have a coastal flood watch south. There's nothing south. It's all north. So, I'm not going to say you're going to have surge because we don't have anything official at all. We just have a coastal flood watch just south Tampa Bay up around the Big Bend area for coastal flood watch. And then Sunday morning, there's your big winds. All right, and I've already showed all that. I want to look at ensembles. Let's look at that. It sounds like a bowl of something. Some ensembles. Kind of zoom in on your lows for the euro. At least we can kind of get an idea where they think the center. I mean, the center is important because the center, even though it's not an organized system, it's where the winds are coming in on the top and where they're coming in on the bottom. And when the winds that are coming in on the bottom are using up that warmth in the atmosphere, and that's where our storm potential is. We'll be coming into the peninsula. So the farther north it goes, the more storms into the peninsula to possibly watch. It's tropical tidbits and pretty much clustering where we've been watching. All in the 990 range, pretty much. But that is where the low is expected to cross through the state for Saturday night. Most of them hanging right off the coast. So your ensemble plot mean here off the coast, which would really guarantee more storm chances, is any track off the coast after it exits Florida is going to enable more storms to enter into the eastern states there, specifically Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. So, and possibly allow it to deepen a little bit more over those, the water, a little more chance there with, the Gulf Stream still kind of warm, So, 980s and 970s. So, still going to be a big event here for the Carolinas. I don't mean to talk about Florida a lot, but I don't think I do. Maybe I do. Do I do? I don't know. Gulf Stream temperatures, just for example, it's kind of fascinating to see this. Still warm. So that's potential fuel for any system. Here are your Gulf Stream temperatures. And believe it or not, you're going to be surprised, I have a feeling. Still in the 80s. 81. 80. Still 82, 83. Right off the coast. This is kind of where our low is going to be pulling up energy. So all this energy, South Florida, 81, 82. So, wherever our low goes, it's going to be pulling up this warmth, and that's going to add a lot of possibilities for some storms. But still plenty of warmth out here along the Gulf Stream to fuel some of these thunderstorms later in the day on Sunday. The weather nerds, I haven't looked at his HRRR. Let's see what it looks like. Mesoscale, HRR. I just discovered his radar site the other day. I didn't know he had all this on here. Matt. Let's see here how it looks. I'm trying to see how high resolution it actually is. So here's your HRRR. Your 13. This would be your. So we got to go back to 12Z, which is the full run. Right here. Well, what the hell's going on here? I don't want 4Z. I want. Are we already? There's 12Z. 12Z, 00Z, 18Z, 6Z, or 48 hours. All right, so, and unfortunately, you got to learn Zulu time, and I still don't know Zulu time. But anyway, All right, so basically 12 Z's morning. So here's this is oh god, I can't even see. All right, this is about 6 in the morning. Already seeing some storms pulling up, as we already showed. These storms could be there in the morning tomorrow, 8 a.m. But just a complete mess in the afternoon. Any of this can go anywhere. There's no way in the world anybody's going to know exactly where these are going to set up. The fact is, you're just going to have a lot of a lot of moisture out there throughout the day. All right, so here's where it gets interesting. This is Saturday about 5, 6 o'clock. You can just see bands, and any one of these bands could be strong. But this is where it gets interesting. This is why they're worried about. So here's our low, but then it's the power coming in around the backside. Some of these right here that might end up sparking some storms here late Saturday night. We haven't even hit Saturday night. This is about, there it is right here. This is Saturday about 7 p.m. Saturday night. I mean, didn't really show much more than the other one did. Except we got, we do have other fields though. I don't know what would be a good field here to look at. I mean, we got vorticity. Or actually, I didn't want that one. I wanted I don't know which one would look the best. Maybe look at Cape, I guess. I don't know. It's Cape surface. Let's look at that one. Cape's hard in Florida. It's not fun, especially when it doesn't even work. I must have hit the wrong button. Come on. Severe. We can look at helicity. Updraft. Let's see what this one looks like. I haven't used any of these on his site, so it's all I'm learning. This is still 12Z, yeah. Yeah, so there you go. I mean, there's kind of makes sense. I mean, this is when the low approaches late Saturday night into Sunday morning here, and these are just instability in the atmosphere. Basically, just showing you the low on approach. Some of these bands could create some spin up. All these bands are trying to rotate inward toward the center, so. But that's why we have a yellow wrist. We don't have to know about all this stuff here. But it's pretty cool he's got it on here. I didn't even know we had it on here. We have a lot of cool stuff. Wind shear is just where we're looking at it. All right. Hey, it's been an hour. Holy cow. All right. And here's some more helicity stuff here. I like this one. This is a little bit more broader. This just shows you kind of the instability in the atmosphere as our low approaches. So, likelihood of a tornado watch tomorrow night. Usually what I've learned over the years is anytime you get a brown 5% risk area, you get tornado watches. So, this will be tweaked. The next update on this is, let's see here. Next update is in 2 hours from now. So 12:30 Eastern, we'll have a new update. This will be updated. So somewhere with likelihood to have a tornado watch overnight on Saturday, which is never fun. Anyway, Kingston, what's up, Miss Keisha? Power outages are going to be iffy, isolated, yeah. I mean, it'll be isolated power outages. Afternoon thunderstorms, we get 30, 40, 50 mile an hour winds. So, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, obviously, strong winds, 50, 60 mile an hour winds, we could get along the East Coast. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to be isolated. Definitely, I have a feeling we're going to see a lot of power outages up more towards Carolinas. We got bigger wind gusts and some heavy rain. They haven't, So power outage is going to be iffy. I definitely would have your Furman generator on standby. Fill it up. Don't run it in your garage. for sure. So there you go. I'm not going to do specifics counties because it's pretty much everybody. We're all going to get something. What's up, Mr. James Fort? Power edges, yeah. It's going to be tough. I think obviously this is it's tough. I think it's going to be the isolated incidences because the whole general area itself is just normal rains and possible storms. It's going to be those isolated storms that pop up. And any wind gust can knock down a power line. But we're seeing 60, 70 mile an hour winds along the eastern seaboard on both the GFS and the Euro now. So they're gonna get a lot of winds there as this thing develops and deepens as it goes. Mike, yeah, you the man. Propane. I will be out in it. I don't know where. I do Tabletop Greek. I'm pretty sure they'll have a yellow on the coastal areas. If not, straight line wind events can be just as bad. The low pressure is going to be close enough to the coast to cause havoc. Again, and we'll see some coastal impacts. There'll probably be a coastal flood watch posted soon across the eastern seaboard now, north of Florida. I would almost think with those winds that are showing up. David, yep, it's coming your way, buddy. Yeah, Lord Andrew, I saw videos yesterday from Daytona Beach. The water was already at the seawalls, or where the seawalls used to be. And now we're down to drinking cold coffee. Lisa, all right, have a good one. Hopefully the dogs aren't very smart. I got Doritos, Vicky Hill. Morgan, what's up? I haven't seen you. What's going on? No, Morgan, you're on the good side. You're not gonna. You might get a few sprinkles of rain, but you're gonna get more on the rain, the energy coming down that's fueling this thing. Christmas lights are down. Listen, I got 4 steaks in Frosty, and I am not unplugging him. He is out there bouncing away right now. I did remove the saga I told you with me was the poinsettias, right? I'm like that weird neighbor. Every time I go out there, I'm like putting up my poinsettia plant. I'm so stubborn. Rather than just put it into a bigger pot, I'm like trying to find a spot. So now I tucked it closer to the tree, and I'm like, you are not going to blow over. Diana, happy Friday. Hey, Tampa Detroit line. Thank you for that, buddy. Appreciate that. Land O'Lakes in trouble tomorrow. Well, I'd be paying close attention for some big wind gusts. Rain, not a huge deal, 2-3 inches maybe, but more overnight. We're going to be watching these squall lines coming in. Remember, I was out there chasing these tornadoes that came in a couple weeks ago, and we're going to see them developing overnight, and we're going to see storms rotating in. So that'll be the question mark if they lift this outlook up. I have a feeling that they'll probably lift this brown area up a little bit as far as 5% goes. So definitely overnight Saturday, you want to pay close attention all the way to Sunday morning. By Sunday for us here in the West Central Florida, most of it's going to be on the East Coast side by daybreak on Sunday. We'll have a lot of winds early Sunday, but Sunday is going to be okay for Florida at least, but then it's going to be really bad off to the northeast. So anyway, Hudson, same thing. Hudson might get some surge out of this and some big squally weather off of the Gulf of Mexico. Long Island, Joseph, yeah, you're going to get some stuff probably more like right before daybreak on Monday. You're going to get some heavy rain ahead of that. But for sure Sunday, Monday, you're going to get 40, 50 mile an hour winds maybe in Long Island. Right around morning time on Monday, maybe dark before sunrise a little bit before it's gone. So, Brown, I do believe Polk will stay in the Brown area. Yes, William, totally. Susan, good morning. Yeah, Harriet, I've been seeing some really high estimates for Myrtle Beach, and that is because those winds are going to be right smack dab over you. Strong winds. Let's see if they include Myrtle Beach on this map here. I don't know. This is my new little toy here, so I don't know what we have to look at here. Atlantic City, Cape Hatteras. I don't think they have one for Myrtle Beach. Maybe it's not Mid-Atlantic. Maybe we should do Southeast. Huh. Surprised. Oh, maybe it's down. Oh, the red. Oh, red's telling you. Oh, that's pretty interesting. Red is above highest astronomical tide levels. So, oh, I don't know. We could look at Spring-Made Pier. That might be close to you, right? So yeah, you're looking at 6 foot surge, possibly above your highest astronomical tide. Charleston. Both reds mean, you could potentially have some sort of a surge coming. And yeah, I mean, there it is. This is Sunday around, I don't know, mid-morning. Mid-morning looks like your highest water for the South Carolina, at least Charleston area. I just be paying close attention to National Weather Service. They're going to be issuing watches and warnings, and it's so easy. You go up here and you type up your area, and Charleston, let's say, and there's a bazillion Charleston, so you gotta look for South Carolina somewhere down here. I don't know where the hell it's at. SC, there it is. And there's all your stuff. Obviously, Sunday rain 100%. What I like to look at is the forecast discussion. This is kind of what they're thinking out loud. A lot to read. Our tip office had like a paragraph yesterday. Talking about 2 to 3 inches. I'll let you read that. My eyes are starting to hurt. We got a river forecast map too, right by the surge map. Right here. These are buoys. Here's your river forecast. Somebody showed me the South Carolina one. It was showing high. Possibly. With the rains coming. This is the Myrtle Beach spillway. Pier. Showing 9-9. Atlantic Coast Pier. Close to major flooding. Myrtle Beach, so. Yeah, just something to watch. If that low pressure stays offshore, then definitely you're going to get bigger winds and greater coastal risks than if it goes over land. All right, so been an hour. The chase starts. Twinkies. Well, I thought I was going to watch 2 softball games tomorrow, but apparently we might have rain on the radar. I tell you, your best friend. I love Radar Scope. I'm not endorsed. I mean, I don't have a deal with them or anything, but your best friend is Radar, man. You get up in the morning, first thing you do is you flip on the old radar, and you look, and you say, "Oh, there it is." You put it in rotation. You say, "All those models that Mike showed, this is kind of what's happening." And the HRRR is really good about that. The HRRR is a great model. And the best way to see that right here, HRR on the top left of my site, that goes to Tropical Tidbits, and change the time if it's starting to run, because they go out 18 hours. Every hour it updates. And most of the runs only go out 18 hours. The 12Z goes out 48 hours. And this is, what we look at. And, with the Euro... with the Euro right above Tampa Bay, GFS and HRR about here. So somewhere between, Cedar Key and Tampa Bay. we're going to have the center. When I do center, it means it's because it's not an organized system, but whatever center is, that means the winds, the winds rotate. So wherever center goes, obviously it's the direction that you're going to get the winds. So north of that center is not as severe as south of that center, but you'll still get wraparound rains and winds. But the stuff off the Gulf is a little bit more intense because it's still being fueled, especially living along the coastal areas. But we'll have that little pocket of dry air Sunday morning, it looks like. Could still be some hefty rains and storms coming into South Florida before the sun rises on Sunday. This is Sunday about 2, 3 in the morning right here. And it only goes out 48 hours, so we'll have to stay tuned for the next one. All right, I got places to go. All right, so we'll post a picture from Drew Garabo's show. We're going to donate some stuff. We're going to go into Walmart, spend some money, and donate some bikes and some stuff for them. They're doing a big toy drive here at my local Oldsmar. So we'll be doing that. And be paying attention to this all day. So just keep it tuned. Remember, you always want to look at whatever social media platform you're on. Click on whoever you follow and get all their updated posts in timeline order, because if you don't, you're only going to randomly see something. It could be something from 3 days ago. It's not going to be the most current info. And I always have this cool little box on the page here. Has all my posts. This is all you need to know. Go to the weather page. Everything is right here. My last post before we went live. Actually, the live should be on there now if I refresh it. There's the live now. There's our surge map I did. There's our El Nino map. There's a tornado map. There's an estimated radar map you could play right in the page there. There's rain map. There's wind maps. There's flood map. So everything this morning that I posted is right there. So if you have any questions, it's probably already been covered. Okay. Okay. All right, so we'll be back live. I will be storm chasing. I don't expect you to be awake, Shelly. Take the night off. You don't have to be crazy like me and drive all night. I will be storm chasing Saturday somewhere. And, yeah. So we need a graphic, Shelly, if you want to do one. We need to put on there the X. Well, I'll do it. Or you can do it. X, YouTube, and Facebook. I don't know if we're streaming live on Instagram or not. I don't think it worked. But we will be streaming live somewhere. Probably, I'm always fascinated with storm surge. God, it might not. If they're saying most of the, I don't know. I'm seeing more storms wrapping around far from center, more in central East Coast Florida right now. But they're adamant about center being the worst storms, and that might mean, storms coming in right off of the Gulf. So that could mean everything just right here at home, possibly. Let's look at supercell composite. There really won't be supercells with a system like this. I mean, it is showing, obviously. Well, see, that's kind of what I was thinking. So here's Sunday, 1 a.m. These are these outer bands that are going to be around the East Coast. So I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of sneaky bands, especially coming in around here like that, even though our center's right here. So this is Sunday overnight. So, we got the Gulf Stream. It's warm. But you are seeing some signs here, some pop-ups there. Significant tornado parameter. I don't think it's probably going to show anything. Well, I guess it kind of did too, a little bit. There's, again, East Coast, Sunday night. This is, brighter the color, the more possibility chances for tornadoes. Again, look, it's south of the center line. But, again, when this, they're talking about a negative tilt. I really can't zoom in too much on that on the screen here to show, but there's definitely signs that we could see that for somebody. And right here is kind of what they're talking about, the tilt. A little bit of tilt going on here out ahead of this thing, because we have this such a complex system of upper jet stream merging with that system coming in off of the planes here. So there's your jet Sunday. So it's kind of wait and see, you know. T-minus hour 40 minutes, we get a new Storm Prediction Center outlet. So ready for that. Hey Heidi, yes. Oh yeah, we got. I think that's where my friend from Chili's, our manager, might be going to do the reefs, rain or shine, right? There we go. Don't be freaking out, no, Casey. Be aware. That's all. You know, you don't want to. You know. So I did a video on this on TikTok like 5 days ago, right? Had almost 500,000 views. And it's scary to go out 5 days, but the fact is, talking tornadoes and showing you this and showing you that, if we didn't have a dark green or yellow with Storm Prediction Center, then it'd be hype. But the fact is that they're talking about it and they're mentioning possible tornadoes. You just have to be aware. That's all. I mean, you know, that's the way it is. You know, we're not looking at any huge flooding numbers. You know, I always love to show this one. You know, I share that blended, the blended rainfall maps, but these isolated rainfall maps, which show up very well on your individual runs, show you these pockets. So this is the Euro, right? And these are rain trains. Now, not to say this is going to happen at the borderline, but you know, this is 7-8 inches of rain right here. There's 7 inches of rain in North Florida, you know, maybe Gainesville. These are those rain trains that talk about that if we just get a constant band setting up over top of you, then that could happen. The blended models just kind of take overall an average for the area. So you got your average, but then you have this possibility of some rain trains. And that's kind of like what always keeps things interesting, because you will get some of these. And that's why we're under a yellow flood advisory for a lot of people. Now here's your GFS showing you possible some rain training up there too. So, you know, Icon's never really been a good rain model, but then of course your official totals just kind of take a blend of everything. How about that? All right, let's end it with Done Right Roofing. Since we're talking about Florida and we're talking about severe storms and the potential for tornadoes, don't forget our good buddies at Done Right here in Pinellas, Hillsborough, Pasco. Official sponsors of Palm Harbor softball. Supporting Emily's softball team. So, but great company. Look them up if you need anything. Hopefully you don't, but if you do, give them a shot. They're a great family that I've met, and proud to mention them here on our show. So, all right. Next update by me will probably be in the form of a TikTok video, and then I have Drew Garabo at 1, and then I'll post all the afternoon models after the Euro runs around 2. So nothing's going to change until about 1 or 2 o'clock. We'll have the new SPC outlook. We'll see if they change anything. The day 2 one is going to be updated. The day 3 one, we'll see. This one's probably tomorrow. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, it's tomorrow morning. So they won't update this for Sunday until when you wake up tomorrow. So we just know generally there's going to be a lot of winds here. You know, like I said, look at this. Already showing up here. This is day 3 to 7 outlook, but high winds from Georgia all the way to Maine. GFS and Euro are both showing 50, 60, 70 mile an hour wind gusts off the Atlantic. So that's an official graphic. So, all right, have a great day, everybody. And remember, stay tuned for our storm chase tomorrow night. I need company. Ride along. All right, we'll see you.